Number 7, finding inputs and outputs of functions from the graph. This is trying to help you understand functional notation. Functional notation, you'll have something like g of x equals y. You put a number in for x, your answers are the y's. When you graph, you put a number in for x, your answers are the y's. So if I'm going to use functional notation and find g of 1, tells me I'm going to find the point that has an x value of 1. I want to find the corresponding y value and think about my answer as a point as an ordered pair. So I look at my graph. If I have an x value of 1, I'd be going over 1. Well, I need to touch my graph, so in order to touch my graph, I'm going to touch this point right here, which as an ordered pair would be at 1, negative 1. The corresponding y value then is going to be the negative 1. When x is 1, y is negative 1 in order to touch a point on my graph. Sometimes you will have more than one answer and they'll say find one value of x. So you're only going to pick one of them if there is more than one. In this case, I only have one on that one. But if we look at the next one, let's check the next one out. I'm going to erase my graph here so you don't see my scribbling and start on the next part of that. It says g of x equals negative 2. Means I'm trying to find the x value in my point that has a y value of negative 2. So I look at my graph and I think about y being negative 2 as being this line right here, right? Y equals negative 2 would be that line. If I'm touching my graph, I'm touching this point right here. And so the coordinates of that point would be 0, negative 2. So the x value that goes with that, they're going to have something like this, and you're going to put 0 in there. If x is 0, then y is negative 2. So in functional notation, the numbers inside the parentheses, that's the x value. If it's after the equal sign, that's the y value. Let's look at the next one here. So number 8 starts off with we want to find an x value for which f of x equals 4. That means the y value is equal to 4. If my y value is equal to 4, I'm thinking about my horizontal line that touches 4. I actually have two different answers. I could use this one or I could use this one. It really doesn't matter which one you use. On this one, the coordinates of this point, 0, 4. On this one, 3, 4. So you're just going to pick one of those answers. It doesn't matter which one you use. I'm just going to pick the 3 for fun. But if you use the 0, it is also going to be the correct answer. On the next one says find f of 2. That means the x value is 2. We're finding the corresponding y value. So I think about having an x value of 2. If I drew the line x equals 2, it'd be the vertical line. Boy, I can't draw straight today. The vertical line that touches 2. Well, right here would be my point. This point is at 2, 1. So if my x value is 2, my corresponding y value going to be equal to 1. So here you could have 3 or 0. Here we only have one point that touches the line. That's at 2, 1. Number 9, same kind of thing there. Hoping you understand functional notation by now. So they want you to find h of x equals negative 4. So hopefully you look at that, you say, okay, I have to find the x value when y is negative 4. So I think about y being equal to negative 4. If y equals negative 4, that would be this line right down here. Horizontal line through negative 4. The only point that touches that line is this point right here. If I find the coordinates of that point, I would go 1, negative 4. So the x value that corresponds to a y value of negative 4, in this case, is going to be 1. The next one says find f of 0. f of 0 means the x value is 0. Find the corresponding y value. So if x is 0, x is my vertical line when I graph x equals 0. It's kind of confusing since the x-axis goes the other way. But if x equals 0, I'm actually right along the y-axis. If I had drawn straight, that would be the point that I touched. The coordinates of this point, 0 over down 2. 0, negative 2. So when x is 0, my corresponding y value, negative 2.